In TF,
we
we judge. In today's episode, we're going to be debating.
Discussing.
Debate is too strong of a word, but
We
yes.
don't debate.
Do we though?
Hmm.
It's just that the listeners haven't seen us actually debate things out. When we do,
I mean, it's not messy. It's not messy either.
At some point we'll just be like, yeah, okay, fine, you're right. This
Agree to
let's keep
disagree.
that. Let's just keep at that. And the thing that the topic on the table is emotions are the root of most problems.
Surprisingly, I'm the one against that statement.
I am the one who agrees with
To the
that statement. Yeah, because I do see a lot of I wouldn't say problems okay, I do agree. Since I'm agreeing to the statement,
Yeah.
I need to agree with it all the way, right?
Not exactly. It's a discussion. It's not a debate.
But in a way, I really cannot find a problem that is usually not caused by emotions. But yeah, maybe there are a few, but most of them really are emotions.
Mhm.
So sometimes circumstances, definitely, environment, but I believe in choice. Everyone definitely has a choice. Very rarely you don't have one.
Yeah.
So yeah, emotions are the roots of problems. For example, let's say war. Why does war happens? Because of greed. Sometimes because of a leader's greed or a leader's ego, pride, so on and so forth. Then you have, even if it's not because of that, you have the people who rebel. Revolutions happened because of emotion. Sometimes, yeah, because of logic. How some the segregation, segregation thing.
Discrimination.
Yeah, discrimination generally. If we were thinking to the root of the problem, why does segregation happen? It's because there is this white supremacy.
Or certain racial supremacy.
Yeah. So there is this ego thing going on in them. So in a way, it's a type of emotion where they are proud of themselves. Overly to the extent where they suppress other people. So yeah, that's pretty much generally my elaboration and reasoning for agreeing to this.
It's actually a fair point when you bring it up in terms of a social economic standpoint where ego plays into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my perspective, when it comes to let's start with choice, right? I do not believe that everyone has a choice in its entirety because there's so many other factors to provide the choice. And does the choice really make it any better? Because we can always have the illusion of choice where no matter what you pick, the outcome is the same. So take for example the situation which is most common, the lack of information, the lack of knowledge, or the lack of culture.
Yeah.
So because of these limitations, your choices tend to be obstructed by your own knowledge or the knowledge of that society, or that the obstruction of the human knowledge or its limitations, in other words.
Yeah.
So because of that lack, and henceforth you cannot make an ideal enough situation or an ideal enough solution, either a problem is created or a problem is worsened, something like that. So that's just for the choice perspective. And then when it comes to, what was your second point again?
When it comes to discrimination,
Discrimination, then then yeah, there will be definitely the ties of emotion into it,
Mm-hmm.
and then additionally you could tie in proper understanding of humanity in some sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on one part, yes, I would have to agree in that statement. Emotions will be one part of a problem because when tying back to the situation where you don't have proper knowledge or limitation of certain ideologies, then your only way to solve a problem tends to be emotional
Mm.
and lacks certain logic or certain
Yes.
concepts to proper outshine the situation
Definitely.
in how you want to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another good example being that emotions may not necessarily be everything is that when we bring back choice, we can also bring in the choice of your emotions, saying that I understand that I don't feel, say, respected in the situation,
Mhm.
but I choose to do it in a better way. But because my method, not tied to emotion, but the methodology was incorrect to begin with, created another problem.
Mhm.
So that in that by that logic or by that sequence, my root no longer comes from the emotion because I recognize that emotion. But
Mhm.
whatever I did was just less accurate towards the situation. Therefore, a problem is created. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm a bit neutral. Okay, I wouldn't say I'm against it. I am neutral in the statement.
Yeah, if you put it that way, then I mean, I will still lean more towards
The
it, but in a
emotion,
way,
yeah.
I do agree with the points that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have said before. But then let's just think of it in a very basic,
Okay.
in an argument,
Yeah.
where sometimes there are petty people who really just disagrees with you,
Yeah.
just because they don't like you.
Yeah.
When they know very well enough that what you have said is actually correct.
Yeah.
So when that comes into light, then it's definitely is like a emotional problem already. And a lot of things also comes from pride and ego, where you're working together, but then sometimes the thing is you are trying to discuss. When you're working together, you don't shoot down someone straight away because they don't they are not performing as well as you, and so on and so forth.
Or that you guys don't see eye to eye at that moment.
Yeah. So because of that, it leads to when you are trying to give an opinion and the other person just be like, no, there's this ego and pride in them that is like, I don't want to admit that your way is better. So this is a very big problem that I think it's just happening everywhere, like not only near us, it's also like everywhere in workplaces. So I think I mean it's good to have like a pride in you in a way, but then it's not to the extent where you obviously not to say obviously know that the other person is right, but like you are able to step down from your pedestal and actually look at the problem from the other person's perspective and be like, oh, it could work this way. It actually could. So maybe we can find like a compromise point or some way. So I do feel that let me just rephrase that. It will be most problems are caused by emotions. So it's not all, but like most of it.
I can respect that point.
Yeah, it's just like how we are discussing this right now, like
we don't necessarily see eye to eye.
Yeah,
in most
we
cases
definitely
anyhow.
don't. considering how you're sometimes more of a thinker, and then sometimes I'm more of a feeler. Even though we don't take that into consideration, we still don't see eye to eye all the time.
Mhm.
You know, there are a lot of we have argued so many times. Like
It's a healthy argument,
yeah,
honestly.
like our friends have seen us argue, obviously, but then you know we know when to drop it.
Mhm.
We know when to just be like, okay, you know, I agree. And
Fair enough.
yeah, like the thing is you try to listen and understand.
Yeah.
Empathy, understanding is such a important thing to such an important thing to for you to learn
And to practice.
and to practice in life, you know, because sometimes you know how like some people they tend to shoot down ideas
Mm.
just because you know you are not qualified enough or like you're not good enough. But at the same time, you also have to think like, okay, that could be a reason I'm being shut down. So it's like from both sides.
Yep.
It's from both sides. Both sides need to be understanding and empathetic.
And critical about their decisions as well.
Yeah, and sometimes you know you need to take it as like a
Pinch of salt.
pinch of salt, you know, a feedback, and for you to improvise yourself, improve whatever that you need to improve. So, yeah. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think we've covered a good enough point.
Yeah.
Because things just don't go in ways that you want.
Oh, definitely.
So the only thing you can do is keep in check with your emotions.
Mm,
Don't neglect it because emotions are important.
yeah.
They bring out the humanity part of us.
Mhm.
It's some part it brings out the survival in us. And so
Mm.
understand it, read up if you need to, take a reset, have a reset button within your conversation saying, maybe I'm not in the best mood right now, can we come back
Yeah,
to this?
I often have that. Like, but then at the same time, I try to suppress it because yeah, maybe because of that mindset of mine where I think that you know most of the problems do come from emotions. So I try to suppress the emotion part of it and just like, shut up, emotions! I don't need you at the moment. Get the out of my brain.
And that's something you have to work on.
Yeah, like I'm still trying to work on it, but
It takes time. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I wish I could go back to
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, let us know in the comments what do you actually think. And in the meantime,
NTF.
we judge.
Bye bye.